Hey guys, here is another video. I'm going to be doing quite a few of these, which I'm excited for actually. I hope you guys are as well. So, in this video, we're going to be covering another hero. So, we've had two villains already, and this one will be, actually, we've had two villains and a hero, and then this will be another hero. So, but this one is, once again, like I said in my previous video, a lot of times, because the main goal or task, you could say, that I had for myself 11 years ago when I did these original doodles was just to come up with a hero. It was mostly just a name, a basic costume design, and some basic powers. So this one's like really, once again, kind of corny. So Blizzard Boy. But this one, I like, it had a lot of good potential, I'll say. Pardon me. Kind of this ability to like ski, for mobility and stuff, and then just the ability. Again, he was kind of a ripoff of like Frozone from Incredibles, or who was a ripoff of Iceman from the X-Men and stuff like that. But nevertheless, I like the whole idea of kind of utilizing the scarf as a kind of a costume aesthetic as well. So, but again, the name was kind of corny, Blizzard Boy, but very reminiscent of the golden age of comics. But anywho, he changed a little bit. Actually, his design changed quite a bit. He took a lot darker, creepier appearance, but again, kind of once again, as I started to develop backstories for a lot of these heroes, it kind of adjusted and changed their costuming and design a little bit as well. So let's get into Blizzard Boy, who I now just kind of got rid of the boy and just called him the Blizzard. So, but yeah, as you got a little quick sneak peek there, not originally, I guess I just kind of, I wanted to give him kind of a darker kind of look to him. And so I took on like a skeleton appearance. And then there's a creature in Dungeons and Dragons called a Lich. And this is like an undead wizard, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty of D&D nerds that are going to correct me on this, but a lich is usually something that's like an undead, powerful warlock, usually evil. But that was kind of the aesthetic I wanted to give him, was more of a kind of a lich, undead kind of a appearance. And so like a majority of his body is composed of these just shards of bones and stuff. And then once again, I kept in the scarf kind of appearance. I liked that, kind of an article of clothing. And then I gave him these bands with runes engraved in them. And these are what kind of keep him formed as a physical being rather than just being a spirit. He's able to, through these bands, he's able to keep himself or form himself in a physical manner. So, but let's take a look here. Here is his final illustration. So this is Blizzard Boy, now Blizzard. This new design. So kind of taking on a mythical lich, wizard, warlock, mage kind of an appearance. So, but let's get into his backstory. So Blizzard. All legends and stories begin somewhere, whether rooted in truth or myth. The Christmas tale told to children today of a snowman brought to life by a magical stovetop hat may have originated from an ancient Germanic legend. That legend spoke of a creature that would rise up to protect villages when a metal ring was placed upon a frozen corpse hidden in a reclusive, forbidden cave high in the mountains. It is said that this corpse once belonged to a powerful mage, one who was enslaved and ultimately slain by visitors from the stars. Some theorists believe he may have lived during the same era as Axe Assassin. The exact location of this cave and the corpse, said to reside within it, has long been lost to time. So there's kind of these legends, they piece together these legends and stuff, and they kind of coincide with, this mage who was a slave to these visitors from the stars. And they feel that that's kind of a very reminiscent story to what Axe Assassin tells. And so a lot of people theorize that this mage shared the same time period as Axe Assassin. So, but again, very little is known about him. He's not the talkative type, we'll say. So his real name is unknown. He's about 7 foot 3 inches. and nearly weighs nothing. Again, he's just kind of a bag of bones and a scarf, so just weighs about 100 pounds. His powers from the ancient records detailing the battles against the Dream Eater. So this is several centuries after his initial death and resurrection as a mage, a lich corpse thing. He battled the Dream Eater. It is said that a village chief once journeyed into the high mountains in search of a foretold weapon, but instead discovered an ancient mage, one who proved to be far greater than any weapon. So again, he was awoken by one of these village chiefs who were being attacked and decimated by the Dream Eater and his forces. The mage's abilities were said to be close in comparison to those of the Dream Eater. He could unleash devastating beams of magical energy from his body, conjure solid ice to form walls and barriers, and freeze entire armies in their tracks. It was also reported that he created an army of his own, being shaped entirely from the cold and the moisture in the air. So once again, he's a very powerful individual to go even toe-to-toe with the Dream Eater. So, but again, he's tough, but it's not like he's bench pressing a couple hundred tons. He's got some strength, but nothing out of the ordinary. His stamina is pretty good. Again, his energy projection is really good. He's able to emit, once again, these powerful beams of ice and magic and all that kind of stuff. His intelligence, he is intelligent, very intelligent, in fact. He's far superior to any human. His speed's on average, and then again, his durability is very high. Once again, for something that's already dead, it's hard to kill him, but once those iron bands with runes on them are placed on his corpse, it's very, very difficult to destroy him. So, but again, there is Blizzard. As before, he's taken on quite a bit of a change as well, from Blizzard Boy to just now Blizzard. But anyway, yeah, that is the character Blizzard, and we'll catch you in the next video.